I'm Leslie Delaspore, and tonight you'll hear from one parent speaking only with Fox 4 about a possible coronavirus case at one elementary school here in Cape Coral. Tonight, as you can see behind me, the scene is still pretty active yet quiet, but the deputies involved in today's shooting have been placed on administrative leave until further notice, which is standard protocol. I sat down with Lisa Myhand, a deaf mentor at the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Center in Fort Myers. Police say in order to prevent yourself from becoming a victim, it's as simple as locking your car and taking your keys inside. That's right, the video that you are about to watch is gruesome, but for one woman in Naples, she tells me it was all a reality and she's lucky to be alive. That's right, Monday's mask mandate meeting was filled with lots of discussion. However, tonight, more people are upset over images showing Councilman Rick Williams appearing to sleep during that discussion. Jane, the smell of smoke fills the air here in Collier County and the damage is devastating. But today I met a 77-year-old woman who shared her story of survival, telling me she escaped in her car with little gas and a flat tire. Now the family has put out Facebook posts asking for the public's help, even this flyer, hoping that someone will call with good news. Now, if you have any information on Tyrese's whereabouts, you are urged to call Fort Myers PD. In the control room, Leslie Delaspore, Fox 4, in your corner. In order to combat the spread of COVID-19, the CDC has encouraged everyone to wear a mask, limiting the spread of air droplets that could be passed through speaking, sneezing, or coughing. For those of us in the hearing community, it has made communicating much different. But for those in the deaf and hard of hearing community, it has made communicating almost impossible. I sat down with Lisa Myhand, a deaf mentor at the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Center in Fort Myers, who says public interaction during the pandemic has been a challenge.
The reason that it's difficult with deaf people is because those that depend on lip reading to communicate aren't able to see someone's facial expression or mouth movements when they're wearing a mask like this.
Myhand tells me for the first time she now has trouble grocery shopping.
I love to go to Publix and a lot of people know me very well. And now when you go up, you can't really see that facial expression. Sometimes people have been forced to pull their mask down in order to let me see their smile or to make some common interaction.
Right now, there is a huge disconnect for the deaf community, and many are now forced to use other alternatives to communicate that still pose difficulty.
We might have to depend on reading, writing back and forth. But that can be difficult. Some deaf people aren't very skilled at reading English because it's not their first language. Their first language is American Sign Language.
As many businesses in local areas continue to enforce mask mandates, Myhand encourages those not a part of the deaf community to be flexible, starting with having a pen and paper handy and more.
So we're asking anyone if they could possibly wear something that would have a clear vision of people's mouths so that those that do depend on lip reading to communicate will be able to see it through the mask.
In Fort Myers, Leslie Delaspore, Fox 4, in your corner.
He don't know, he may be scared. He may think he's close to home when he's not. Just bring him home, please, just bring him home.
That's what the family of missing 35-year-old Tyrese Dillard is asking. Tyrese was last seen January 3rd around 8 p.m. by his older brother in their tight-knit community, Harlem Lake. According to family, Tyrese was wearing all black with a red cap and multicolored Adidas high tops. Tyrese is mentally challenged, but his aunt says he is high-functioning and knows his community.
And usually, if it get late, he just come home, stand in the yard, and he'll be in the yard until he ready to come in the house. And it was midnight and no Tyrese, and that was like strange. He wasn't nowhere. We went down the street to have anybody seen him. No one had seen him.
The family says Tyrese loves and is loved by so many.
Everybody's his aunt, everybody his uncles. He always think, even strangers, he think they're family. He's just that type of person. He loved God. The church home is his second home. just the community. The community helped raise him.
Now the family is left to speculate.
So it have to be, we looking like, well, somebody that didn't know him may have taken him where they thought he wanted to go. And he usually, if he goes out of the community, he know his way home. He won't go too far.
Saying they have had little sleep and little to eat while working with police and city leaders.
We've been doing it since Friday night, and we're still at it because we're worried. This is not Tyrese. This is not Tyrese.
Now the family has put out Facebook posts asking for the public's help, even this flyer, hoping that someone will call with good news. Now, if you have any information on Tyrese's whereabouts, you are urged to call Fort Myers PD. In the control room, Leslie Delaspore. Tonight, as you can see behind me, the scene is still pretty active yet quiet as multiple units and the Sheriff's Mobile Command Center are still on scene, while the Lee County Sheriff's Office is working to piece together details that led deputies to shoot and kill a man in North Fort Myers earlier today. Investigators say around 1:30 this afternoon, Lee County Sheriff's deputies were responding to a wellness check of a white male in his 60s at the Aloha Motel between Pondella Road and North Tamiami Trail.
Our deputies responded, they assessed the scene and began to try to make contact with that white male, at which time that white male exited his hotel room and displayed a rifle, pointing at our deputies and running at them.
The sheriff's office says deputies gave verbal commands to the victim to put the weapon down
and were placed in fear for their life and safety. Subsequently, they engaged them and discharged their firearm. The subject was struck a few times. The subject went down.
Sheriff Marcino says the deputies involved performed CPR until paramedics arrived. The suspect later died from his injuries. One witness who wished to remain anonymous says he saw the entire chaos.
I knew they were about to shoot him. I was on the phone with the landlord, telling her, I was like, they're about to shoot this dude.
The witness also says the victim was 60 years old, living with dementia, and the shooting was a shocking scene.
He didn't run out. He walked out, took like 10 steps out of his door, and picked a BB gun up and pointed it at him, and they just unloaded on him.
Now, at this time, the Lee County Sheriff's Office has not confirmed the statements that you heard from the witness, but the deputies involved in today's shooting have been placed on administrative leave until further notice, which is standard protocol. In North Fort Myers, Leslie Delaspore, Fox 4, in your corner. That's right, the video that you are about to watch is gruesome, but for one woman in Naples, she tells me it was all a reality, and she's lucky to be alive.
Am I supposed to be hurt?
How much is your life matter? Show me how much your life matters.
Why is that necessary?
This mace in your face.
Near the Collier County Courthouse along Airport and 41, last night around 7 p.m. heading home, one woman says she was approached by this man and decided to pull out her phone.
That's how much your life matters. Nothing.
The woman who asked to be identified as Mishu released this statement. I just want to bring awareness to the world that even when you're minding your own business as a black individual, we still get looked at and talked down upon. Even in Naples, Florida, this happens. I'm thankful to be alive. Mishu then decided to post the video to Twitter, causing the tweet to go viral. That's where Yuritsa Gary of Naples says she recognized this man in the video from a Facebook post she made August 6th. She claims the same individual verbally attacked her brother after he tried to step in to calm the screaming individual down.
The guy was yelling the N-word and saying, try to do something, try to say something and watch what will happen to you. Once my brother, went next to him and told the guy to stop, he started yelling, N-words at my brother also. But it was mostly towards the elderly black man.
Her brother was unable to speak with us on camera, but he tells us in a statement, I have a family that depends on me, and I have too much to lose, because being a black man, no words can describe the pain you feel when you experience such hate. Many locals on Twitter recognize this man, claiming he is a local Grubhub delivery driver. We reached out to Grubhub to confirm, and they tell us, We are in the process of investigating this incident based on the speculation and will take necessary actions as appropriate, including terminating his contract and working with law enforcement if we find that he is one of our drivers. Naples police says they are working to get to the bottom of this.
We are actively trying to identify and investigate as to whether a crime occurred, and we will work in conjunction with the Collier County Sheriff's Office if need be to assist in any way if there was something that occurred in their jurisdiction.
The Collier County Sheriff's Office gave us the same response and posted to Facebook asking the public for information. Right now, Gary says for her brother's sake and others, this man needs to be caught.
These incidents are never just one incident. It's going to keep happening and happening until something happens to this person. And that's what we want to try to avoid.
And again, police are urging all community members, if you have any information, to please call. In Naples, Leslie Delaspore, Fox 4, in your corner.